Hello, hello. Welcome to another version. I don't know. Another critique from Website Wednesday. Today's critique is a full site critique from Elizabeth May Films, Elizabeth May cinematography, from someone that I know personally that has switched from being a photographer to a videographer and done a stellar job. So this is the homepage. Now, Elizabeth, I will say that I have actually loaded this several times, and it sometimes plays perfectly, and sometimes it's especially funny with this particular clip because their hands are in the air, so when it's glitchy it looks like they're like raising the roof. It's super funny. But I don't know, personally, I'm not a very video good person. Like, I'm not good at video, but I would imagine try to keep the size of those video files as small as possible so that they load easily, because I was wondering if maybe that's why it was glitching a little bit, but it's working well now. So it could have just been a one-time thing too. Love the like movement in her dress in that particular shot. Actually, here, let's go back. I love that I can go back. Please, if you have slideshows on your homepage, please give me arrows. It just makes such a difference. So let me go back to the one that I was talking about. I love, you know what? I think it was this one. I love the movement. I feel like that really shows the difference between video and photography. So I love seeing the movement, especially the contrast of the light on the dark background. Looks amazing. I also love that you have the music on or off, and it defaults to off, because nothing drives me crazier than having music come on a website when I don't want to see it, because quite frankly, like, the video tells me what I need to know. It says that you capture these amazing journeys for couples, and I don't need the music that goes with it. So I love that you have the default to off. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I love that this takes up the whole width of my screen. I, again, am doing this on a desktop computer, so make sure that you double check and see what it looks like on mobile as well, just to make sure everything looks good. So I'm going to scroll down. Again, high five. First to Elizabeth for putting herself out there, and second for putting text on your homepage. Yay! I feel like anyone who has worked with me for SEO understands this and now knows the importance of it. So definitely, absolutely put text on your homepage. I know that it's not as pretty and we want someone to hire us for our work, but just as a quick reminder, this is what a search engine sees when they look at your webpage. It is not the pretties. They don't see the pretty video. All they see is text. So make sure that you have some text on your homepage. See right here. Here's the text. So you want to make sure to have that text. It's so important. So good job on that. I love that you have kind of a, like, I wouldn't call it a gallery, but it's definitely an option to click through into different things. So this, I think, is super important, because as a bride, if I'm looking at someone's website, I want to know that you can handle a venue like mine, because if all I see is a specific venue, then it may not be a good fit for me, and that's okay. There are some people that just want to do mountain weddings, and that's cool. But I love that you have, like, I see the columns here. We have the Manor House, and then we also have a Game of Thrones here, which is different and fun. And so as a bride, if I want to know that you can handle a wedding like mine, I'm going to look for something that looks like what I envision my wedding to be, what I want it to be. So I love that you have several different options here for people to click on. It's very clear and easy to see. When I click on it, it pops up the video. I'm going to turn off the sound there. When I click on it, it pops up the video, which I love. And these are shorter video clips. So this is 1 minute and 32 seconds, which is good because you don't need to put the entire video. That is something someone can ask you for. They don't need to know, they don't need to see a 20-minute video on your homepage. More about Elizabeth here, which is perfect. I love the outdoors, a good taco or 6. Can you really eat 6 tacos? That would be crazy. I guess it depends on the taco though, right? And let's connect with an email address here. My only feedback here is I would make this either a button or a link so that it follows through to somewhere. Because right now, if I'm like, oh yeah, let's connect, and I try and click on it, it goes nowhere. So also you can link your email address. It's a mail to link that will open whatever email service they use to email you directly. I'm going to go back up. So one thing that I kind of gave some feedback on previously in some of my other critiques, and I would also share with you, Elizabeth, is to put a call to action like here. And the reason for that is maybe someone has been following you on Instagram for 6 months now, and they know that you are the person they want to hire. They don't need to read the rest of this. They don't need to look through all of this. They're ready. Just put and it can be small. It doesn't have to be huge. Ready to get more information? Click here. It doesn't have to be huge or a big button or whatever, but put a call to action. Now you do have one here with a contact me, which is good, but I would move it up a little bit and maybe make it a little easier to see so that it's not necessarily just the text. So see how this is a little bigger? That's probably a different like H3 tag or so. Change this. Make that a little bigger, make it a little easier to see, or put it up here. Make it super obvious what you want someone to do. What is your goal? Where do you want someone to go when they're viewing this web page? So next page is about me. I know Elizabeth actually is a part of my Boss Book Club, and she was kind of frustrated with me when I overhauled her about page. But I know that she did an amazing job, and oh my gosh, I'm reading this now and I'm so proud. Like, I feel like a proud mama right now. I kind of went through and overhauled her about page because, again, if you have followed my kick-ass about page formula, and you know that the about page is a chance to really connect with your ideal client. It is a chance to show them that you understand where they're at and that you get it, and that you are right there with them on their team and ready to work with them to overcome whatever challenge or obstacle that they're facing. Even if it's just, I need a videographer for my wedding. It doesn't have to be a huge life-changing obstacle, but it is an obstacle. They need to hire someone. It may as well be you, right? If you're a good fit. So Elizabeth says, every adventure is worthy of being documented. Think about growing up. When did your parents pull out the camcorder for only the most important events? Weddings, recitals, Christmas, birthdays. Your wedding matters. Big or small, the two of you or a few friends together, it matters. I understand the idea of having yet another camera on you might feel overwhelming, but I can assure you that my unobtrusive filming style will set everything at ease. This is amazing. So she's first encouraging someone to think back to, when did that camcorder get pulled out? Well, of course they were important events. And yeah, my wedding's important too. Well, but it's only two people. Well, big or small, the two of you. She is addressing so many things right there in these few sentences. She is showing someone that she understands. She is showing someone that their wedding is important and that it doesn't matter how big it is, and that she can be the person to pull out that proverbial camcorder for this important event so that the parents can relax as well. I'm Elizabeth. Perfect. So again, she has addressed a whole bunch of things before even introducing herself. And that is so important. This is talking about the client. This is addressing the client and saying, this is probably where you're at. Think about this. This is what you're looking at. This is what you're feeling. And I get it. And here's me. And here's why I would be a good fit for that. So I love this. Contact form, let's make that a little bigger. Although, let's get together. Oh, that's perfect. See, that's what you need on your homepage, darling. Love, love, love that this is a big link. It is very obvious as soon as I put my mouse over it that it is a link, and it goes to her contact page, which you can see down here when you hover over the link. So now we have a picture of her, which is perfect. We also have one on the top, which is wonderful. Picture of her in action, which is great. And then we have a little more about her, which is awesome. A very, very cool quote, which I like as well. We have some wedding photos of her, which is wonderful as well. And favorite breweries, which is lovely, although I don't really understand why you're linking to them. There might be a very specific reason. But If it is maybe a brewery that you want to work with or partner with, then that link could be an awesome way to reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to take some pictures, because business partnerships can be huge for your business. So we have the one thing I'm not really sure of is why this is here or why this is here. So that kind of confuses me a little bit. I don't know if they're the same wedding. They very let's see. Fun Aspen wedding. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then we have some others as well. So I would clean up these links, make them a little more easy to understand. Move this logo down here so that they're next to each other. And then put these links, say you want to see more real weddings. And then be specific. Like if Erica and Barry's wedding is maybe a larger wedding, or maybe it's just the two of them with two friends, like be specific and tell someone what they're going to click on. Because right now, Erica and Barry's wedding, like I don't know anything about Erica and Barry, and same with Daniel and Tyler. I'm thinking that maybe these are links for the logos, actually, now that I look at it. But again, I don't think that's really necessary. I would still move this logo down here. And then if you want to have these, I've been published here. If you want to see more weddings here, make these links specific and understandable. All right, our work. So this is kind of something that I was sharing earlier as well. If you're going to use we and our, it can be very confusing, because here we have I specialize, I believe, everything is about I, but then you have our work. So is there more than one of you? Is like someone working with you, which is totally cool if it is, but it will make it more understandable and easier to read if you are consistent with those pronouns. So I specialize in cinematic adventure films with photojournalistic flair. Perfect. This is a little hard to read. Let's adventure. I would make that white just to make it easier to read with the rest of the text. And let's get together, make that bigger. You always want that call to action to be crystal clear. What do you want someone to do on every page of your website? Have that goal. And here we have kind of the same setup that you had on the homepage, but more, which is awesome. Because look, we have an anniversary. Like, what if someone gets to your page and they're like, oh, she only does mountain weddings, which is not necessarily the case. And I love that you show several different options and several different backgrounds and all of this good stuff. The promo videos, I love it. The one thing that I would be careful of is on the home page for the hour work. So the main hour work, you might want to decide specifically what you want to book, because showing several different genres could turn someone away. If they're like promo videos, what are promo videos? I don't know. And again, that's kind of nitpicky. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but if you really, really want someone to book weddings with you, I might say just put weddings on this page. Because if someone wants a promo, they will click through onto something else. If someone wants lifestyle, they will click through and figure that out. But if there's something in particular that you want to book specifically as far as a genre, then I would go ahead and fill this page with those. But I love the way that you have it set up so that I can see the thumbnails of the videos, because that could be potentially difficult for a videographer, I could imagine. And that photographers can just put a slideshow, right? But videographers, it's a little different. So I love the way that this looks. Next up, services. Weddings and elopements, we have pricing. There's generally 3 schools of thought when it comes to pricing. I think I said 2 previously, and then I thought of another one. So there's generally about 3 schools of thought. The first is that you put your full pricing on your website. The second is that you don't put any pricing on your website. And the third is that you put starting prices on your website. So it looks like Elizabeth has opted to put full pricing on her website, which is totally fine. I believe that, there's good and bad to all of them. And again, your business, your rules, you're the boss. So whatever works for you, I think it looks wonderful. The only thing that I would do, we have the contact down here, and there's a little typo right here, Branding Film Stat. It sounds like you're a doctor, like in the ER. So I would move the get in touch maybe between the wedding and lifestyle, move that up a little bit so that someone doesn't have to scroll down any further. Make it super, super, super easy for someone to contact you. Under journal, it looks like journal might be a blog. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't understand what the journal is. I love this photo of you, but I don't really understand what the journal is. Is it the blog? And if so, is there only one blog post? So blogging can be so crazy important for SEO. However, if you absolutely hate it, again, your business, your rules. However, if you are going to blog, I would highly recommend that you do it consistently, even if it's just once a month. Consistently, it is very kind of like one of those moments where a potential client might go, February, she hasn't shared anything since February. And it can be something that kind of raises a red flag in their brain. So there are two ways to fix that. You can either blog consistently, even if it's just once a month. If it's still consistent, that's a good thing. Or you can set your website to remove this date so that someone doesn't know the date when they're viewing this page. But it would also make me wonder why there's only one. Is there only one blog post? Is there only one entry? So something to consider. And again, everyone has different opinions on that. I am of the opinion that if you're going to do it, be consistent. If you're not going to do it, that's totally fine. You need to look for other ways. Excuse me, I had to pause it there for a moment. You can find other ways to up your SEO. However, if you are going to blog, do it consistently. I apologize. I had to get a drink of coffee. All right. Next up is contact. Now that you know a little bit about me, I love that. We have the contact form here. It all looks good. I don't think that it's too much, especially for weddings, because you need to know their wedding date. Like, that's something very, very upfront. The only thing that I would say is I would not make that required, because if someone wants a branding project or corporate or something like that, then they're not going to know what to type in there. Same with venue and location. So I would turn off the required fields for those. And I would also we have your email address down here, but at the top of the page, I would also give an email address and or a phone number. If you don't want to give a phone number, that's totally fine. I hate phones too. But give someone else an alternate contact method just in case this contact form does not work, because it happens. It happens more often than we think, that we think everything's fine, and then all of a sudden we decide or find out that our contact form is not working. All right, I thought that was a menu, so it's the search thing. So I'm a little confused why we have search here and then this is a search as well. I'd probably turn off this one because that 3-line concept usually means menu. So that could be a little confusing, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not a huge deal. It just makes things a little easier to search through. So overall, I love your website. I think it looks great. There are a few changes that I would make for sure. I love your about page and what you've done. And I'm curious to know, after you made those changes, because I know we had talked about it a while back, I'm curious to know if you've had any clients tell you that your about page struck them, because that is something I hear a lot and so many people don't really consider. So kind of a side note that I really want to kind of point out, especially for wedding photographers, we have all sorts of people here, which is fun to show diversity, but I really love that you have a bride who's not a size 2 right here. Someone that has a different body type, because I feel like the wedding industry really does a disservice to anyone who does not fit a specific mold. So I love that that's on your homepage. Just wanted to give that little shout out there. But overall, it's beautiful. I think you've done a great job. A few things to change. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know.